Magandang araw po. Ngayon po ay May 20, Friday. Ito po ang The Stock Market Today. At kung first time niyo po sa channel ko, ito po si Benji Chodoro, isang retired bank officer na nagsimula mag-invest sa Philippine stock market noong 2007. And I do this report every day. I also report the latest news on your favorite and most active stocks. If you like the content, I invite you to subscribe. If you have stocks na gustong ipa-review, paki-comment lang po sa comment box at ating ipa-prioritize. Hindi po ako financial advisor. Ano mang sabihin ko po sa aking channel ay hindi po financial advice. Ang ating financial news ay isang special report tungkol sa pagtaas ng interest rate, kasama ang ating financial headlines at ang resulta ng trading sa ating PSE ngayong araw, May 20, 2022. Dito lamang sa The Stock Market Today. Okay, so let's go through our top stories from Business World. Balance of payments swings to deficit in April. Then BSP hikes rates for first time since 2018. NPL ratio eases to 3-month low. Credit raters awaiting incoming administration's fiscal consolidation plan. And in corporate news naman, PLDT Group, US partner to test space-based broadband. Pure Gold targets 25 stores nationwide in 2022. Bloomberry acquires Paniman land for casino resort. And house stock earnings up 93% in 2021, while the Max Group profit is down 88%. Pero ang main news po natin ay isang special report from Philstar. Alam po ninyo, nagtaas po ang rates ng BSP ng 25 basis points. Ang isang basis point ay 0.01%. So 100 basis points is 1%. Okay? So 25 basis points is a quarter of a percent. So dito from Philstar, what the BSP rate hike means for you. And this is a very interesting piece because it tells you what happens when BSP raises interest rates. Manila, Philippines. The BSP on Thursday took its first decisive action to tap the brakes on quickening inflation by raising its benchmark rate for the first time in over 3 years. At their meeting, the Monetary Board raised the policy rate by 25 basis points to 2.25%. So 0.25% po yung tinaas from 2%, hoping that the higher borrowing cost would temper consumer demand that's stoking inflation. Governor Ben Jokno said the magnitude of future rate hikes would be data dependent, although analysts expect the tightening to be gradual to avoid damaging the economy. Here's how the major central bank action will affect Filipinos amid the pandemic. 1. Expensive loans. Banks typically use the BSP's benchmark rate when charging interest rates on different kind of loans. That said, yesterday's decision would mean higher interest rates when you swipe your credit card or take out bank loans or buy a house or a car. Of course, if you can afford to pay, the heftier interest borrowing from banks would not be a problem for you. For June Neri, lead economist at the Bank of the Philippine Islands, access to credit is easier now compared to before when banks tightened their lending standards at the onset of the pandemic. Because the economy is now bouncing back from the pandemic, a lot of people are actually regaining access to credit again. If you look at it from the perspective, only those who had access to credit during the pandemic are the ones that would end up paying more interest, Neri said. Number 2, savings. BSP's rate adjustment also affect the yields on bank deposits. depositors can expect higher interest rates in their savings. But usually, banks delay the adjustments. Michael Enriquez, Chief Investment Officer at Sun Life Investment Management and Trust Corp, said. In addition, tumataas po yung T-bills rates, and that would drive a lot of people, rather than investing in the business, to buy T-bills or treasury bills instead of investing in the business. And in that way, yung pera na hawak mo, bumabalik po yan sa BSP o sa government. And that is how you arrest inflation. Yan po, you reduce money in circulation, yung pagbili ng T-bills. Number 3, stock market investing. Rate hikes are usually bad for stocks because they can hurt the profit of businesses, including publicly listed companies. Businesses typically borrow from banks to fund their spending requirements. So a rate increase might prompt firms to defer any expansion plans. So nagmamahal po yung cost of money. Additional expense po yun sa mga kumpanya, no? And therefore, they might shy away from borrowing until the rates are lower. At the same time, higher rates could make it difficult for some companies to pay their debts. But there are cases when the stock market rallies after a rate hike announcement, especially if the plan was well telegraphed or nabasa ng market at na-price in niya yung rate hike. There are chances when investors would perceive the central bank as being serious in fighting inflation, which is also a major threat to business or to businesses. Those who are aggressive and buy stocks, for example, may suffer if the stock market players think the borrowing cost of their favorite listed company will cause a drag in profitability, BPI's Neri said. However, if the economies are opening due to lower alert levels is going to boost the revenue of restaurants like Max or Jollibee. The rate hike may have a similar impact on the company's bottom line than the improvement in revenues due to the reopening. So, dadami po yung customers pero lalaki pa rin yung expense dahil interest expense mo yung binabayad nila pagka umuutang sila. Number 4, bonds. The rate hike could be a double-edged sword to bonds, whether corporate or government issued. For the existing holders of bonds, as interest rates move higher, the value of their bonds will go down. For new bond investors, they can enjoy higher rates, Enriquez of Sun Life said. Number 5, economy. As it is, the hard part is just starting for the BSP, as monetary authorities would need to make sure that the rate hikes are just enough to slow the economy to allow high prices to cool down without throwing the Philippines into recession again. This rate increase translates to a lower number of firms doing expansionary activities and less households making purchases for real estate or durable goods. Nicolas Mapa, senior economist at ING Bank, said, the slower pace of economic activity translates to lower incomes, fewer jobs, and an overall slowdown of the economy. Neri pointed out that the rate hikes may temper the local currency's weakness, as the higher yields could attract foreign investors who would exchange their dollars for peso so they can invest here. A stronger peso in turn can lower import costs and help ease inflation. If so, then consumers are better off because they don't have to suffer as much from imported inflation, including which are felt in petroleum, energy, and food products, Neri said. Yan po, no? It's a very nice piece and a very educational piece, no? Kung nag-aaral po kayo ng economics, maganda pong basahin po ninyo. It's a summary of how interest rates affect the economy and us in general when you raise interest rates. Okay, so let's take a look now at the comments of our subscribers. Okay, Isip Roman, Mer and DNL, bukas sir, thanks, happy weekend. Okay, Philip Gons, itong suki natin. Tuloy na kaya sir ang pag-angat ng PSEI? Thanks. Okay, tingnan po natin yan mamaya kung ano yung nangyari sa index. And then Frank Fares, thanks po sir. Sana po dumami pa po ang subscriber dito. Naku, salamat po Frank. At kailangan po natin yan. And maraming po salamat sa inyong pagtangkilik sa ating channel. Rodjen, good day sir. Let's review ALLHC, BPI, and TEL. Okay, sama po natin yan. Then Cobb's Capital, great insights and some really good information here. Keep it up with the content. Thank you. And finally, we have again Isip Roman. Dagdag si DMC. Umabot ka. Isip. Okay, so dagdag natin si DMC. Okay, ano ba nangyari sa index ngayon? Naku, it's up. Let's put up our indicators. Yan. So now the Philippine Stock Exchange Index advanced 86.28 points or 1.30% to finish at 6746.33. So yung EMA20 po natin is 6745. So it's barely touching the price today, which means that another rise in the index in the coming days on the short term trend may have changed. In addition, the RSI rose to 47.85, though below the midpoint pa. No? Yesterday, RSI is or was at 93.78 or 43.78 rather, naging 47.85. So meron pong bullish divergence ang RSI. But on the overall, it is still a downtrend. And we have to see another green candlestick to say that on the short term, the trend may be changing. On the market activity naman, 131 companies advanced, 62 declined, while 43 remained unchanged. Now, the all-share index also moved up 1.27%. All our sectoral indices are up, and this was led by properties at 3.60%. So we will be reviewing the request of our subscriber. So anim po, no? MER, DNL, ALLHC, BPI, TEL, and DMC. Okay? So let's now start with MER. Meralco. Oy, what happened to Meralco? So there was a breakout here, and it appears to be consolidating. This is still consolidation phase, but it's a large engulfing candlestick, you know? So right now, I would say that Meralco is pretty moving sideways on its second day of consolidation. Although this is an engulfing, not exactly engulfing, but a surge in the price, but the breakout happened here. Nangyari po noong May 18 at nagkaroon ng consolidation here on yesterday. Nagkaroon po ng consolidation yesterday, and now it opened lower but ended higher. So it's 2.56% up, and our indicators are moving sideways. From bearish, mukhang nagta-turn to sideways na po, no? In the meantime, yung support ni Meralco ay nakikita ko po sa area to. Here, 333.02, and resistance, the higher one, I find it here at 375, 370 to 375, and a mid resistance at this level, 360. Actually, this is a resistance level already. The higher resistance will be 373, and the support level is 333. Support and resistance, hindi po siya exact points, but these are areas. RSI is past the midpoint, so to the bullish side at 56. Then DNL, ito po ay food company ingredients po ito, bearish po siya. And yung RSI appears to be moving up though, but it's sideways, bearish to sideways po ang kanyang movement. Ngayon po, yung support ni DNL nandito po sa 7 pesos, while the resistance nearest na nakikita ko nandito po sa 743. The higher resistance would be here at 799, but RSI is just in the middle, lower mid, no, 48.94 or 49, almost just moving sideways ang stock. Okay? And then ALLHC, another good company. Ito po yung logistical support ng Ayala Land, ano? Yan, nagkaroon siya ng breakout, I think, ano? Yes, this is a breakout, and it's the highest in the past week, and there is volume. Pero, well, I would say a breakout for a week, ano? Kasi normally po, ang breakout po, 2 weeks siya na pinakamataas. But since there is volume, I would say that this is a breakout of sorts. Kasi from RSI, from 33, naging 47, ano? So, ano kaya nagkakos nito? Tingnan natin kung meron, or is just market sentiments. Lumabas na yung general information sheet niya. I think it's just market sentiment that's driving it kasi nag-oversold na po siya dito eh. From May 6 up to May 17, oversold po siya. So, nagta-turn around na po siya. But it's still bearish, no? Okay, meanwhile, support is here at 383, and resistance, the higher one, would be here within this vicinity at 484. Okay? So, that's ALLHC, still one of the good stocks supporting Ayala Land. Then BPI. Okay, wow, BPI continues to move up. Meron po siyang dividend, 1 peso 6 centavos. Ex-date is May 27. May 27 next week. And the payment date is June 22. So, it's already bullish. Yung ating mga indicators are now under the candlestick with RSI bullish at 54. Yung kanyang resistance nandito po sa 100.39, so it's approaching resistance, and the higher one would be here at 102. So it's sideways to bullish po ang kanyang movement, but RSI is already past the midpoint and appears to be turning bullish. Then TEL is, as usual, it's been moving upwards. So, yung black line po, which is our long-term indicator, smoothen out konti but proceeded to move upwards. So, if we will prepare, or we will do a parallel channel from here, the support level follows the black line, or the 100-day exponential. So, that would place our support at 1989 or 1990. Resistance rather is at 1990, while support is at 1800. So almost, well, 100 points or 90 points difference between support and resistance. And it's moving upwards. RSI is at 61. Ito po ay bullish. Since all our indicators are moving upwards. And merong slight overshoot lang po, but support is holding at MO100. MO100 po will be our support as our parallel channel follows the MO100. Okay, then finally we have DMC. Yan, it's moving upwards, and yung indicators po natin, ito po, no, under po siya, and looks like the gap here is now being filled. Meron pong gap down dito eh. At nafi-fill na po siya, no? With this upward green candlestick gaining 2.17%. RSI is already bullish at 62. Yung ating support for DMC nandito po sa 8.07, and resistance is 926 to 960. Yan po. Upper resistance is 960, lower resistance is 926. Okay, so yan po ang ating report sa stock market. Ika-20 ng Mayo, 2022, Friday. Ito po si Benji Chadoro nagpapaalala. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Maraming salamat sa inyong pagtangkilik. Hanggang sa muli, happy weekend, stay safe, God bless, and bye for now.